Super League basketball is leveling up British youths. This isn't just a league, it's a movement you can feel and see in the stands. From the first tip to the final buzzer, the story is written. Every drive, every shot, and every moment. Rivalries run deeper, games hit harder. One pass, one dunk, everything can shift. Legacies aren't given here, they're earned. New stories are ready, and new champions are coming. Season 2 is here. Stand tall for British basketball.
Welcome to the Copper Box. It's the last game of the home run for the Lions, the #1 team in the country. 3 trophies already in the cabinet. They are 1 win away, or 2 wins away from a complete clean sweep. Leicester Riders come here with a 19-point deficit to make up. A big task for the Riders, but as defending champions, they do know how to win. I'm Mark Clark, with me is Kyler Nelson. Kyler, you've been in the situations before, big deficits, but they're going to come here with coach knowing they've got to find a way to win.
Absolutely. At this level, you're always going to want to be competitive and put 100% into each game, regardless of how far behind you are. I think having a coach like Rob Penostro lead you, you're going to want to play hard for him, and he's going to come up with different schemes, different tactics to try and give them the best chance to eliminate the deficit they currently have.
Well, this is leg 2, and it happened on game day 1 for this leg. Riders at home against the Lions. Let's have a look at how that game went. And the Lions came out in the first half, in fact, built a 21-point lead. But Kyler, they came back, the Riders, they proved it. 5-point game they got it back to. Travis Evie was huge. But in the end, Lions were just too strong, too deep. Yeah,
really encouraging signs, especially in that third quarter where Leicester came out and it was a 25-11 quarter, and they did it from this guy a lot, Travis Evie, as you talk about. So they had really good moments, but within the whole time of the game, the Lions were just too much from them. Especially when they start making threes, it makes it really hard to understand what you can give up against Lions.
They're so deep, aren't they? They can come with it of so many ways. There's the confirmation of it, where we sit. 89-70 is the score. The other time, Manchester trail heavily to the Cheshire Phoenix. So Lions and Phoenix look like the likely, but anything could happen. Let's take a listen to both coaches who we spoke to early today with their thoughts before today's second leg. Coach, a tough one in the first leg, but knowing you and knowing Leicester, you're going to come down here and give it everything you got, I assume. What do you have to do today?
Well, we got to make more shots. I thought that to beat this team, you got to shoot the ball better. They make it difficult. It's a 5-point game there, second half, where we were making a little bit of a run, but gave up some timely buckets from them. So in order to play well today, we got to rebound. Got to take care of the basketball.
It's been a tough year for you, some ups and downs with players, etc. Are you healthy today?
Well, this is our 7th weekend in a row with Friday, Sunday games. It's taken a toll. We haven't had a lot of depth, so I think Travis Evie's the main concern for us today. Right now, we're waiting to hear. He hurt his knee a little bit the other night, so yeah, it's going to be tough without him. But he's been a guy that's been a soldier for us, 35 minutes a game, you know, playing back-to-back games like that. So we'll see. We'll see where we're at.
Well, he started the season against Lions with a super game, just to underline that. But in those injury situations, you've had some great step-up performances from some younger guys.
Yeah, you know, look, we lost our team, right? I mean, in March, when does that happen? But, you know, we were able to really find a way to play by the end of the season. I think, you know, we really came together as a group. We got to the 5th spot. We won the first semifinals. Obviously, this team was always going to be a challenge, but super proud of our guys no matter what happens today. I think it was a pleasure for me. I've coached a long time, but a pleasure for me to coach this team.
Well, I haven't seen some of those games in the last few weeks. Your team's done remarkably well against some real adversity. You've had Victor play well. You've had Flynn play well. Those guys have really, those young guys, those British young guys have really stepped up.
Yeah, you know, we've always been a club that has been able to bring British players through. I think if you look back in the 18 years of myself being here, we've had some really good players, and this year is no different. Flynn, Victor, Tomaday on the interior coming out. These guys have really had an opportunity and taken their chance and ran with it.
Thanks very much, Coach. Good luck today.
Thank you.
Way to go. Coach, great performance, great result for you in leg one. Is complacency the biggest enemy you have today?
Yeah, especially looking at the 5 minutes we had in the third quarter where we dipped and they made a run. We have to be prepared to do that, to not do that, and be ready to play 40 minutes, possession after possession against a good team.
Coach, it's been a real privilege to watch your team play this year. The relentless way you play defense, for me, that's been the difference between you and every other team in the league. Is that your basis? You seem to spend a lot of time really emphasizing defense.
Yes, exactly that. I don't want it to sound like a cliche, but champions are built on defense. You know, you can have a good day offensively, but the groundwork, to know what we are doing at every time, it starts from the defensive end and being physical 40 minutes. So that's what we do every day in practice, and that's what I like to see my team do.
Well, relentless is the word we've used a lot about you. You're just relentless the whole way through, and that's because you're so deep. Is that there's real British core to this team, and I think the fans love to see those British players. Aaron Wright, again, 17 points in 21 minutes. You got a lot of depth with the British players. Is that really pleasing?
Yes, of course. You know, when I took the job and we wanted to bring the best talent that we can from like the local players. So we're very happy with who we have. We're very happy with a lot of guys that stepped up, built, understood what we wanted to build here, and grew as individuals and players, and most importantly as a team. So having the depth and having everybody ready and being ready for their number, it's a privilege for a coach.
And finally, Coach, the last game at home at the Copper Box, only one more game. I know you're not going to take it as done as being finished today, but 3 trophies. How are you feeling about making it a clean sweep?
I only care about the 40 minutes right now, taking care of business today. Again, we're playing against a tough team that's been playing great basketball for the last month, so usually we have to lock in 40 minutes possession after possession.
I thought you'd say that, but congratulations on the season, and good luck today. Okay, wow, there you get the thoughts of both coaches. Going to now look at the players to watch in the game. That man in shot, Aaron Wright, brilliant in the first leg, 17 points, 21 minutes. What do you think, Aaron Wright? What a season.
Mr. Reliable, you know exactly what you're going to get. He's so consistent in how he approaches the game, plays at his own pace, creates in and around the rim for himself and his teammates. Bigger body, so he's able to bump with all kind of forwards and then use his strength against smaller guards. But not only did he have 17 points, he did it 100% from the 2. Just missed that 1 3. He was 8 for 9 on the game, added 4 rebounds, and he's just someone every coach wants on their team.
Well, going the other way, this young man has had a great season. Tremendous at the end of the year. Flynn, Bournemouth, Rafe, he's probably the reason Leicester are here.
Oh, absolutely he is. What a great year he's put together, and he keeps getting better. Player of the month, averaging 20 points, she's under 7 rebounds and 2 assists a game. Came out in the last one, doing what he does best for this Leicester Riders team. Also had 17 points, got himself to the line 10 times. They did a really good job of drawing fouls in that first run. And for him, there's nothing to lose at this point in the season, at this game's second leg in the semi-finals. He's going to come out and give it everything and be a main scorer for this side today.
Well, Flynn, Bournemouth, Rafe has had a great season. He's going to have to really step up on today's game, because the bad news for Leicester and their fans is that Travis Evie has failed a fitness test that he had here earlier on in the Copper Box itself, and the news is not good. So the guard that's had a tremendous season is just not going to be here for them today on the floor. What a gap that is to make up.
Huge gap, and for such a competitor, it must be really hard at this point in the season to not be able to contribute towards in this win or go home situation. Someone that has proven throughout the entire season that he can score against the London Lions and he can create for the Riders. So without him on their side today, it makes their job a lot harder.
Well, there is the roster, and interesting that there's a lot of young talent on this team.
There is a lot of young talent here, and the good thing about Coach Paternoster, he gives him an opportunity, and probably not the season he would have thought he was about to have, but it's really giving these young guys like Victor Nduku a chance to step up and play at this level. And I think the more opportunity, especially for young British guys to get, the better we make the entire league.
Well, this Riders team, when they had the problems with some of the registrations as late as March, still make the semi-finals. It's been a tremendous performance. Here's the starting lineup for the Lions, and pretty much as you'd expect in recent games.
It is. It felt like Coach Abonis has found a rhythm in how he wants to rotate, how he wants to start. Obviously, it is always based on matchups because he has that privilege, but a strong starting five here that have proven throughout the year that they can play together and start games pretty well.
Well, Coach Sabonis, as you heard in the interview, is only interested in today's 40 minutes. Everyone else is talking about a clean sweep. He just doesn't have that word. And we talked again with him, and their biggest problem could be complacency.
It is. It's hard. As you said, they've won 3 out of the 4 so far this year. They've dominated. They've got a roster built for Euro Cup competition. So how do they put together consistent 40-minute games at their standard, whatever that is for Coach Sabonis? And I think any kind of silverware is huge for a program and a club, and they want to do it the right way. So thinking about today and getting this job done is the first step to do that.
Well, so right, Kyler, and the watchword for this Lions roster is relentless. Every minute 1 to minute 40, they play at a level. Riders have just got to live with every single minute. If they can find themselves a way to be in this at the half, then they may start to believe. But the Lions will get the first look at it, although I think Ethan Price tipped that on the way up, but referees are on that one. So the Riders, and this is where we'll get a look at how they're going to deal without Travis Evie with the basketball. 35 minutes or so a game, Travis Evie, and for most of those he does have the ball, but they're going to have to do it without him today. Menzies, who had a really nice game on the first leg, gets in the block, but they put up the tough three. And the Lions, as they do, set their stall out at the defensive end.
Yeah, just kept Leicester out of the paint that entire possession there.
Price will come high, looks to hand it off. Brown, who's just energy. Price, step back, 3 is good.
Great ball rotation. You know Ethan Price can pop it and extend the defense, and a great job just catch and shooting at the top of the key there.
Well, Marafa gets it into the half court and gets it back. Got to think they're going to have to look to the inside a little. Menzies will set the ball screen and dive. And again, the Lions defense just forces the turnover. This team plays defense.
They really do, and this starting five especially have the capacity to switch 1 through 5.
Yeah.
So it just keeps everyone in front of them. Their rotations are on point, and they're just shrinking that paint right there.
And that's a surprise for me that they haven't tried to get Menzies a touch early. See if they are going to switch, try it to the big man. Had a great game in the first leg.
Absolutely.
Moves it on. Reynolds thinks about the 3, puts it on the floor, takes the tough one off balance. Menzies cleans up the mess on the glass, and the Riders have a chance to tick it over.
And I think those kind of contested look is something what Leicester have to be okay with.
And we'll wrap it down the lane for 2.
Nice patience. He kind of looked off Menzies and gave him that space to then go up over the top.
Great seal. Scott in the post, doesn't get it. Menzies cleans up the mess, gets his second rebound. He's going to have a huge game. Transition 3 is no good, and that will go out of bounds. And yeah, go.
I think Leicester have to go for those.
Yeah.
They were more successful in transition points, 13-7 last game. They have to find ways to score and generate, and I think in fast break opportunities, that's not a bad look right there.
Tariq Phillip is short, great rebound. Super work on the offensive. And Scott, huge season for the Lions. They missed him so much for a roster that's so deep. When he was out of his injury spell, they just weren't the same team.
They weren't, because he's a match-up nightmare. If you're a guard trying to play against him. He'll find ways to create angles, seal, post you up. Any bigger forwards or posts, and he has the ability to stretch the floor and take you off the dribble. So what a pickup for the London Lions this year, and Joel Scott, who's still really young in his professional career.
It's one of those moves, to me, it's great for him, great for the organisation. If you get that comparative benefit both ways, you end up with a performance that he's put out there this season. Gets the friendly roll off the ring for the first of the throws. And goes 2 for 2.
Let's see on defense.
Johnson, who looks like he's going to share the point guard responsibility with Bournemouth Raffet. Won't do the Riders any harm. Menz is in the post, tries to go inside, outside, should have powered through the contact. Reynolds in transition, deep catch by Scott, has it knocked away. Johnson gets a piece of it, and Reynolds takes the quick foul to stop the break.
I absolutely agree with you in going up on that one with Menzies. The rotation came, but it was Shavar Reynolds Jr., a smaller guard that he could have powered over the top instead of trying to get that corner one more pass.
Here's Johnson, guarded by Reynolds, getting into the half court. Spending time with the basketball, Riders could be one way of trying to shorten this game. That's a really good cut by Bournemouth Raffet. Really just got Tariq Phillip on his back.
Yeah, lovely job there. Just messing with his timing and rhythm to create that foul. And just chipping away at these fouls will be really good for Leicester to hopefully get them some extra points at the free throw line.
Bledson will inbound. Johnson receives, takes the middle pick and roll. Menzies goes deep again. They don't look at him enough. Bledson gets inside, ball fakes, goes up with a right hand for 2.
Nice timing, nice patience there. Got exactly where he wanted to go, and good finesse touch on that finish.
Reynolds. Riders show the zone, which could be a really productive way of trying to help that short rotation.
The Lions with the highest 2-point percentage, but the lowest in 3-point makes, as you get a make there. Nice job by Johnson on the mid-range.
Well, Johnson was sharp as he came off that little curl. Reynolds has it going the other way, and Leicester stay with the 2-3 zone. Tariq Phillip looks to get in the seam. The ball reversal to Scott for the 3 is no good. And they're a little... And Lions have had these problems through the season. They will dry up now and again, especially against the zone. Bournemouth Raffet has a look at his options. A little hesitation, steps back, puts up the 3, is short. Menzies keeps it alive. Bledson. Ball fakes, little give and go. They missed him. Johnson, feet set for 3, is good.
Yeah, and after he just hit that mid-range, he's feeling nice and got some rhythm. Nice job by Menzies, just been patient on that kick out to find his teammate, and Leicester go back to that 2-3.
Price settles for it, and if they're going to stand and settle, they're going to make, and Leicester will stay in that zone. Johnson in transition, big step for the 2 is good.
Defense to offense, and that's 7 quick points there for Johnson, and forces Sabonis to have to call a timeout.
Well, we can talk. Well, here he is. You just called it. There's his 7 points. That little 2 from the elbow started it. And then he gets his feet set from the 3-point line and strokes it. And then you're going to see him in transition. But it's an interesting, a lot of teams have tried putting the zone on the floor against the Lions, and they just don't seem to have the same rhythm against the zone.
They don't, but you have to be able to sprinkle it in and out. If you give the Lions too many opportunities against the same kind of defense, they find a way to adjust and figure a way to score. So being able to go in and out of it does seem to confuse them. As I start to speak about, they are the lowest in the league on 3-point makes. So it is not their identity to shoot a bunch of threes at a high rate. It's just if and when they get hot, it makes the defense's life really hard. But right now, it seems to be working for Leicester, turning defense to offense.
So, I mean, we should explore that a little bit more. So in some ways, Leicester have to mix it up a little bit to stop Lions getting into their rhythm.
Exactly, yes. If you give Lions too many of the same looks, they will figure it out, whether it's a zone or a man, ball screen coverage even. So, and knowing the vet of Coach Paternoster, he's got a lot in his pocket that he can throw out there in today's game. But whilst his 2-3's working, though, Coach Sabonis just had time to talk about it. Do you go straight back to it, or as you've seen, they're coming out in more of a full court press to change the rhythm again of the London Lions?
A little bit of soft pressure from the Riders, just again to mix it up. They'll drop back into the 2-3. Tariq Phillip and Reynolds combine, and they show hard out of that. They match up pretty well on the ball. Price to the inside, in traffic, gets blocked. And that'll go to the Riders. And it's a little bit of a combination as much as anything else. They'll try and run that ball screen against the zone, and then the middle just showed hard.
That was a great defensive stance there, and I think Leicester came out showing the 2-3, but actually ended up in sort of a matching up to mess with the Lions. As you said, the pick and roll, the ball screen actions for the Lions have worked tremendously all year, and they found probably the guy they wanted, but defense just collapsed in time.
So here's Johnson, who started the game really confidently, gets it into the half court. Wolfman Raffet comes off the down screen. They hit the second side. Johnson picks up the foul from Obi Soko, who's joined the action.
Yeah, it's a good offensive set there. What it does against a team that's switching, they're moving constantly, and if they're trying to jump that switch, be more aggressive on it, with so much movement, it's hard to be there on time, and normally forces a foul like that.
Cameron McGusty checks in for Reynolds. In the lane for two.
Nice touch there, and absorbed the bump from Obi Soko to still finish.
Right, so that's the way to come in as Atkins comes off the bench, gets two, gets the hard show, really has a contribution straight away. McGusty, foul line, his area, can't get it to drop. And the Riders, at the moment, if we were looking at a boxing match, as those of you who watched the big fight last night, we're talking about at the moment, they're leading on points. They really have established a way that seems to the Lions some problem right now.
Yeah, they're stopping any player getting some sort of rhythm with the ball.
Johnson with the early three, not necessarily the one he wanted. Tariq Phillip advances the basketball. Takes the ball screen at the top again. They show hard and switch back. Tariq Phillip somehow manufactures a shot. Bowman Raffet has the 2-on-1. Timing on the pass is perfect, and one.
And all Leicester need is a little bit of confidence, and everything starts to come together. Great run there by Johnson. As you said, perfect timing by Bowman Raffet. Being able to just pass it before the defense jumped in front to create the advantage, and it feels like the game is in control from the Leicester Riders right now.
Well, more changes coming in off the Lions bench. Aaron Rye, one of our players to watch on tonight's game. He checks in, as does Dean Williams.
Dean Williams just all in the votes for a plethora of awards coming into the playoffs. British Team of the Year, Team of the Year. Lots of Lions have been voted on to different accolades so far.
Well, he's not an acquisition to our game here, because he's been a great ambassador, if that's the right word, for the British game. Won a Basketball Champions League. But now with the GB national team, and he's having a season. And quite often he is the guy that sparks this Lions roster. Salade gets to the elbow, needs a pass. Defense again doing a great job at containing the ball. McGusty has it, 8 on the possession. Looks inside, has to make the pass, extra one. Salade with the 3 is no good. Obi Soko can't control it, and Riders are literally taking all the offensive life out of Lions, and Bowman Raffet throws the air ball.
But again, that's a good look for him.
Yeah.
The Riders have to be okay with that, and his first shot was a little short too. He's probably exerting a lot of energy on the defensive end and just getting open. A lot of his legs are short, but let's go back to the defensive containment. On ball screens, the guards are able to just get under, back to the ball, so there's no disadvantage in the zone.
Well, there's a great example of it, and they rotate again, do a really nice job off the ball. Here's McGusty, will take the ball screen, looks to create. Leicester being aggressive on the basketball. McGusty looks for contact, and he bows it out with the pass off the floor. Great awareness.
That's great job of Lions of finding something out of nothing, but a tough one for Leicester that are wanting something on that McGusty kind of dribble.
Bledson has it. Got to be the aggressor riders when they look to get the options they want. Nice movement away from the ball. Johnson for three.
Nice job.
He is at the game. He has shown up. Williams drops it off. Obisoko will skip it. McGusty thinks about the three, turns it down. Aaron Rye, step back from the three-point line is good.
Mr. Reliable's at it again. He's just under control. He's telling his team, calm down, we're good, we can score against the zone. And he's just shown all the different kind of skill sets he can possess in a game.
So he whips it. Johnson goes up inside, doesn't get the two to drop. Great battle on the glass, and finally, McGusty comes down with it. Ball's knocked away. Great work by Johnson. Just stayed alive. McGusty steps on the sideline, and this defense has just taken Lions out of any rhythm.
They have, especially on a miss or a turnover by the Riders. They've done a really good job in transition of stopping the ball, not giving up anything early, and it's allowing them to miss some shots or make some mistakes on the offensive end because they're covering the other way.
While Johnson's sitting down, crucial that they don't miss a beat with him out the game, and Saladi picks up the foul. That'll send Bowman Rafa to the free throw line.
Yeah, and second game in a row that Riders are drawing more fouls than the London Lions. They did a good job in game one. Drew 27 fouls compared to just giving up 19 of them. Got themselves to the line 28 times. Talked about Bowman Rafa getting himself there 7 for 10 last game, and they've started the same way.
Bowman Rafa has had a great season from the free throw line. Took a less than traditional route, spent his college career in Canada, had a great college career in the Canadian college system.
Yeah, it just shows your journey is individual to you, and it's about what's going to help you get to that next level.
Well, the consistency is Riders stay with the 2-3 zone. They will match up in it, though. They won't give the open standstill three. Aaron Rye steps back. They've offered it to him once. He goes and misses the second one, and that's going to be a backcourt violation. No, not a backcourt violation. Surprising. McGusty gets into that little pocket on the foul line, stops and pops, and that is where he goes to work.
Yeah, his bread and butter right there, but another possession that always led to nothing or a turnover, creating scoring out of that.
Bledson breaks down the defense, has it knocked away. McGusty just about gets it off to right. Spins to the baseline, off the glass for two, can't get the drop. Obisoko would have picked up the offensive rebound, but Aaron Rye will go to the free throw line.
Yeah, and Aaron Rye did a good job using his body to get where he wants to go. There you go on the spin there, and Dooku just does enough to prevent the and one and force him to earn it from the free throw line. But this is where you get a little bit worried if you're the Riders. Lions can all of a sudden go on a big run, so the momentum shifted a little bit towards that end.
Well, it's the first time since the opening minute that they've got things off their defense, got the turnover, had a chance to run, and no better player than Aaron Rye to finish the play. Bowman Rafa. Udoka goes baseline, spins, goes back, gets it knocked away, comes back up with it, stays with the play, and we'll have to earn them from the free throw line.
And again, just his aggressiveness got him back to the line, knowing they're already in the bonus.
I mean, Victor Nduku played mostly for the second team last year, had big points, could score. And an open shot is an open shot, right? You'd expect him to be more of an offensive factor than he is perhaps being at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. I think it takes some time to feel like you fit in and where your role is, but as a coach, yes, if you're capable of making the look, you have to keep defense honest by taking that shot. It's not being selfish, it's the opposite. It creates the next thing for your team. But it just shows what a good pathway I think Leicester have, knowing that he was obviously in the team below and had the opportunity to take a step up, and he's taking it. It's now about producing more for his side.
Well, he has to take that opportunity at the moment with the injury issues that the Riders have. Solade comes off the ball screen and almost finds the Lions management on the baseline.
Yeah, it kind of made assumptions of what defense were about to do there, and read it quicker than defense actually moved.
Well, if we'd have offered Coach Paternoster a 22-14 start in this first quarter, I think he would have bitten our hand off.
Oh, he would have. And another interesting stat that's normally flipped is a 12-4 in points in the paint.
Yeah. But Lions defense beginning to be a factor. To come up with yet another turnover of possession. Solade out top. Reynolds struggled a little bit early to get the shots he wants in the lane with a little floater. Soft touch is no good. And the Riders are doing a super job at cleaning up the mess.
And yeah, they can't give the Lions multiple opportunities in one possession.
Duku in the post. Goes against Solade. Settles for the jumper. Knocks it down.
I think he heard you, Mark.
Oh.
Shoot the open one.
Having had to try and find ways to stop him, he can score. And it's had the little size advantage, got the little lean back. Reynolds has it the other way. They still stay with that early pick and roll to try and get a reaction from this defense. Reynolds again, the hard show. And he's going to have to stay. Reynolds drops it inside. Ovisoko for 2 and 1.
Nice play there, Shavar Reynolds. Felt like there was a sea of red in the paint, and he still found Ovisoko through the defenders. And that's a positive play to end the first quarter. The Lions struggling from the offensive end. Gets it again, hesitation, gets the angle downhill, and just puts that ball through the defender's hands.
And Ovisoko misses the throw, gets it back, has to put it straight back up, and can't get it to go. And the end of the first quarter, and the Leicester Riders, trailing by 19 at the start of this game, have the lead 24-16. Super start for the Riders. And they are asking all sorts of questions in this Lions roster.
They are. First question is, how do you defeat consistently the zone that Leicester are putting up? First of all, it helps being able to get clean stops, so you don't allow them to get back into the zone. As you see here, they were shooting a lot better from the 3 in the last game, 40%, 10 for 25, struggling today, going 2 for 7. So it means Leicester are more likely going to stay in that zone and keep you outside of the paint. And 2-point percentage, 88% to 27. And that's a huge stat right there.
That's a huge stat. Absolute huge stat. I mean, you mentioned the way that they actually had the numbers on points on the inside, and they've done an exceptional job. And we're going to see that from the highlights. Everything was normal at the beginning. Lions got the shots they wanted, and then Riders just took over.
Yeah, Lions are comfortable, like you said, got a great first possession, looked like they were in control defensively, and things just changed. I think it started with this 2-3 zone just starting to disrupt Lions' offense. Leicester finding a way of defending the ball screen. On that one, McGuss was able to get free on the elbow, but overall have done a good job. And then offensively, people are now starting to step up. They've got nothing to lose. They know they have to score to give them a chance. And you see just a nice little mid-range fadeaway there by Nduku to keep Riders up in this quarter.
Well, I was a little worried about this game. You see a 19-point margin, but the crowd has come out here. And the Lions are now getting a really good number of people every single game. The atmosphere in here is building. They're really building something special.
And I think that's a huge word, is building. Throughout the year, you've just seen more and more people wanting to be a part of what's happening. A really professional feel here. It's an entertainment as much of it as just a basketball game, and they're starting to figure out how to get bums on seats.
Lions have it at the start of quarter 2. Reynolds looks up with the pass, nails the 3.
That's a great adjustment there. Instead of a ball screen, they got into a flare action to screen the top of the zone, which opened up Reynolds Jr. for the 3 there.
Bledson, guarded by Rye, will have to work to get it into the half court. Aaron Menzies will dive deep. Just would love to see Riders get Menzies the ball down low.
Just open up everything else.
Oh, the tough 3 is good. Oh,
I mean, that helps. If you're not going to hit it inside, you've got to create from the outside, and what a job.
Michael Joyner just said, I'm putting this one up, knocks it down, answers the three with his own three.
Sometimes when the pressure is off you, great things can happen.
Wow, it's a super pass by Reynolds, finding holes in that zone now. This is what you were talking about now. They seem to have found a way. Riders may want to switch this up.
Yeah, multiple possessions now, been able to score inside against the zone. Really physical.
Doko's got to get the ball away. Ulman Rafek gives him an option, has to step back for the three. Off the glass.
Hey, and Ulman Rafek's been short in the first quarter, so he made sure that one was going to be long, if anything, and nice job of using the backboard this Sunday.
Scott is fouled as he attacked the seam. And that's the difference. At the start of this second quarter, they are trying to attack those seams of the zone.
Exactly, it's breaking the top two of that zone and then making reads. What's happening is that bottom line are just watching the ball. So even if they step up and do their part in the rotation, they aren't ready for the next dump-off passes.
Reynolds again, they try and overload it. He'll take the ball screen, gets to the foul line and kicks. Tariq Phillip with his feet set for three is no good. And Ulman Rafek just cleans up the mess, and Riders have dealt with this nice start. Down the lane, little floater, doesn't get it to go. Menzies is the man cleaning up the mess. He gets the putback.
Yeah, he nailed the defender in that transition and still was able to come back and rebound. It's a great job by Menzies there.
Riders have the double-digit lead. Well, we talked about would Lions be complacent. If you're just a step off it in this league, teams can make you pay. Great penetration by Scott for two.
Yeah, that's what you want to do against his own. Get it inside, get it in the middle, and he has that advantage to go downhill against the bigger Menzies.
Joyner, having made the three, takes the ball screen. Doku tries to clean the mess up. That'll stay with the Riders because of the Sandy going out of bounds. He tried to recover it.
You can tell the Lions are putting more pressure on defensively, especially one pass off the ball, really denying, forcing higher catches, pressuring the ball so they can't then set stuff up right at the three-point line, and it's disrupting the Riders a little bit in the second quarter.
Ulman Rafek will take the ball screen. Menzies will go deep. Ulman Rafek step back for three is no good this time. Defensive rebound. Tariq Phillip has a chance to push, has numbers down the floor, right deep. Wants it. He's going to have to clear the keyway now, though. Aaron Rye goes to work for two, doesn't get it to drop. Super job on the glass by Ulman Rafek.
Yeah, and he does a good job. I think it's a good matchup for Rye. A bigger body, similar size, but that's normally automatic for Rye.
Menzies does a
There you go.
Yeah.
What a job there. You were saying that all game so far, find a way to get the ball inside to Menzies, and good things happen when they do.
Hey, and the great thing about Menzies on that one, he really didn't have any right to catch the ball easy. Did a really nice job adjusting. Timeout, and if you're Coach Paternoster, you've got to be a very, very positive coach right now.
Absolutely, you have to be, knowing that you're still in aggregate behind, but you're playing kind of the way that he probably wanted them to play for a while, even with a limited roster. And it all kind of is coming from that man. He's creating, getting that in transition, and his teammates are just cleaning up for him. As you see, Menzies got 4 quick points around the rim. On the other end, we talk about Lions are starting to figure out ways to score inside against the zone. Can they do it consistently enough to come back into this game and reduce the current Riders lead?
Well, we talked about Riders still being in the game at the half. If they can carry this on, they're going to have eaten into the margin.
And we saw how they came out in the third quarter in the last game. So they're able, having a double-digit quarter leading against the Lions. And if they can put a couple of those together today, it's anyone's game still.
They're a regular winner. If your organization regularly wins, you normally find, you have ways to find them. Coach Paternoster, one of the most decorated coaches in the British game. He'd have worked out, if we can get this to happen and we can execute, we have a chance. He would have always come in to the game with a way to win the game. And if Lions are a step off, which is where they are at the moment, Riders are building an opportunity for a massive upset. Sandy will get it back to Tariq Phillip. Reynolds will take the point, replaced by Phillip on the wing. Haven't really turned the defense at all at the moment. Reynolds gets to the foul line, backs it out of the back of the hand for Scott for three. Way off and no rhythm.
No rhythm at all, but again, it's because the Riders go from their zone to matching up man, so Lions thought they had a baseline runner, but instead was being guarded, and it just messed up the offensive rhythm in that possession.
Well, Menzies had to come, oh, they're going to call that offensive.
That's a hard one because his arm is at the height of Scott's face. So at what point is it an illegal move, or what point is it just his cylinder and his trying to just get open?
I have a lot of sympathy with your point. Let's take a look. He's going to extend. I didn't see the arm being thrown at all. It was just normal action to the ball.
Yeah, you have to protect yourself on a catch, and you can't let someone cross in front of you. To do that, you kind of have to put that arm out. It's a difficult one.
Sometimes it's not so much the rule as such, it's understanding the game.
But again, yeah, I think if Scott was to fall like that, you have to kind of respect some sort of contact.
Price can't get the alley-oop. And again, the Riders' defense is taking Lions out of what they want to run. Rafe puts it on the floor, barrels his way off the glass. Menzies again with the putback, can't get it to drop. Gusty gives it up, Lions in transition, Tariq Phillip. Price will give it back to him. Run the sideline pick and roll. Tariq Phillip moves it on. McGusty with all day and all night to stroke the three.
Yeah, nice job there. Good pass by Tariq Phillip. It starts because in this quarter, Lions able to get downhill through the middle. Now that second zone defender has to stay inside the middle longer. So on that swing, it's a further closeout to give McGusty more of an open three in that chance there.
And you know, it's one of those things, as you as a coach, etc., then I looked at the stat numbers, and McGusty hasn't had a great season from the three-point line in the SLB. And so it's almost like, well, okay, we'll let him take it then. If he makes it, okay, but if he's not shooting the percentage that they should be worried about. McGusty shoots a much better percentage in the Europe Cup, and it's just maybe rhythm or whatever, but they're picking their poison at the moment, the Riders.
Yeah, and you can't try and stop everything. What are you willing to give up? And a McGusty three might be that. The problem with the McGusty is he's a baller, and once he finds a rhythm, it doesn't really matter where he shoots it from. He believes that he can make it. So it's finding that balance of forcing players to do what they don't want to do necessarily, but also not giving them a rhythm to do that as well, because they're a high enough level to still knock it down.
Well, McKeevy out. So the guys that have stepped into that guard role, that lead guard role, Johnson has 13, Baldwin Rabbit has 6. They've literally gone like for like in taking those points, and they just need a fourth player to score. They didn't get that fourth player in the first leg. They were really dependent on the three scorers. They've lost Evie. Other people have to step into that gap. Here's Baldwin Rafe on the point now. He'll advance the basketball. Hits the corner. Johnson looks to attack the space. Has the match up with Scott. Settles for the three. Doesn't get it to drop. That's a battle on the glass.
Yeah.
Well, the referee has called a foul. I'm not quite sure which way he's called it. Yeah, they've called it on Chorney Brown. If you work hard, you get rewarded. Great work on the glass.
Yeah, that's really good work by Akinsiku. Get to see it again. Maybe a little pullback on that. Yeah, you just see kind of Brown Jr. pulling him, and both bodies hit the floor hard.
Lions beginning to build that relentless pressure that they have literally won 3 trophies behind. Every pass is contested. When they switch and deny, and it's you really have to execute as an offensive team. Riders on the sideline, 12 seconds on the possession. Baldwin Rafa wants it in the post, doesn't get it. Every pass in lane is contested. Kinsey puts it on the floor, needs a pass. Bledson. Bledson's going to have to put this up. 5 on the possession. Handles it, goes with the runner, doesn't get the drop. McCusty has a defensive rebound. great defensive transition. They get back, then they knock it away, and they've got a chance to run. Heads up play. Bournemouth Raffets lines it up, can't get it to drop.
Hey, why not though? When you're fighting for a game like this, that's a great job of getting that stop, pushing the ball.
Johnson did a great job at recognising he wasn't going to catch it. Knocks it to Bournemouth Raffet. Scott looks to handle, spins, gets inside. Price with the two-hander.
And that inside relationship the Lions have with their bigs is really special, and they've shown it throughout the year. Changing it up between guards finishing, but also rewarding those forwards inside.
Johnson keeps it alive, and they've been stuck on this 34 points for a little while. They've had good looks, they've just got to keep the scoreboard ticking over.
Yeah, we get to see that play again. Nice job of Scott drawing the defense over and hitting Ethan Price for that nice little slam.
Well, you made the point earlier on, what a nightmare Scott is to guard. Big enough, can put it on the floor, creates off the dribble. Bournemouth Raffet in the lane is fouled and will go to the free throw line.
It seems like Leicester right now being a bit smaller and trying to go at Ethan Price on switches of ball screens.
It's not hurt them in terms of their, their ability on the glass either. They've done a really nice job at just competing.
They have, but they've got some strong bodies on that side. Other than Menzies, no real traditional post, but they've got some bigger bodies that can do a bit of everything for them, which always helps, and they're willing to do the dirty work.
Well, Bournemouth Rafa makes the first from the free throw line. Played his junior basketball down in Richmond, a really decent, really good program in that part of London. Spent some time in the academy system at Barking Abbey. And then, as we say, made his way to Canada. Now he's back in the British Professional League, and that is a great journey that he's been on.
Yeah, he's opened up a lot of coaches' minds, I'm sure, about recruiting high-level Brits, giving them an opportunity to have a big role in the team, and he showed up.
Reynolds stops on that foul line, and that foul line area at the moment is the biggest friend that Lions have offensively.
It is. Every time either the ball or someone cutting gets an opportunity around there, good things happen.
Benson tries to create a little separation, forces it up, doesn't get it to drop. Dean Williams does a great job defensively. He breaks it out. Tariq Phillip moves it on. Williams lines up the three, short. That's how to get to the glass as a team. Bledson has it in transition and then mishandles. 3-on-1 the other way. Reynolds hands it off, and somehow they just about managed to get the two.
Yeah, both plays on that were a little too casual there.
Riders still have the lead, but it's cut to 6. Here's Johnson. Moves it on. Doku defense is an understatement. What a rebound. Inze gets it off. Johnson puts it on the floor, steps back, is fouled as he released the three. And he is having a game.
Feeling it. Feeling real good right now. He's in control. He saw Dean Williams flying out, and he just did that nice little sidestep, knowing that Williams is still coming from that side to draw the foul as well. That's a great job. Just keeping that cushion.
Johnson on the free throw line. Can't complete the 4-point play.
And again, Ryder's dominating the boards right now, which is definitely helping them.
Phillip will hand it off. Reynolds. There's that hard show and recover again. They really are taking away the primary options as a team again, but just this time, Tariq Phillip, who is a one-man wrecking crew when it comes to just outworking people, comes up with the offensive rebound. Reynolds wraps it. Brown with his feet set for three.
A nice little wedgie there. But again, I think that's a successful possession for the Riders.
100%.
That is the kind of shot from the kind of player that you want. And you live with what happens after that. Go crash hard, finish the play, which they've been proving to do. And actually the 2-3 zone suits them where they're at injury-wise, rotation-wise.
Absolutely. It's a really nice rotation, isn't it, when they run that and the middle guy shows and then just recovers to the middle.
Yeah,
they just don't pinch in behind. It's a really nice job. So things are not going Lions' way, so what do Lions do? They just play more defense. There is never a moment they let you rest. Here's Bledson, has it, needs a pass. Rafi likes this post up, goes to work against Reynolds here, tries to back him in. Feels the double team, backs it out. Spins, goes to the middle, puts up the tough one and draws the contact.
You don't realize how smart that play was. As he was dealing with the physicality and pressure of Reynolds Jr., he's checking behind him to see where the help and the double rotation's coming from. So as you see, Obi Soko is that one. So he's checking every time, create space to get rid of Soko again, and then just change direction so Soko's late on the rotation to draw the foul. Really, really smart play there.
Well, it can go one of two ways when you're faced with your star man being out. And for the Riders, this is being seen as an opportunity. These guys are stepping into the gap that Evie has left. Rafi on the free throw line.
Yeah, already drawn 4 fouls on the game. Gets him back to the line. These are 5th and 6th free throws of the game. Now I think he's going to want to be a little bit more efficient from the floor. Right now, just 25% from the field. It still feels like he's playing well, just from his aggressiveness, what he's creating on both ends.
Well, here's a question for you, because when he went to college in Canada, he was a major player. You have to learn how to be that type of player, don't you? It's not, talent is never enough. You've got to understand the role and really be able to fulfill it.
Absolutely.
Scott with the M1.
You got to know your moments, and Joel Scott knows his moments. Where's his advantage on that one? It was the post up, and we've talked about it a lot, about how he's so versatile and hard to guard. But that was just will. He knew what he wanted to do, didn't matter who was behind him. He just bodied his way inside.
Just the footwork here is a clinic. There, step through, gets the angle, gets the two, goes to the free throw line, and completes the three-point play.
Yeah, that second bump created separation, and then defense overcommitted, which allowed the step through.
Again, the full court pressure is just going to wear this Riders roster down. Won't hurt that if Bledson brings it up now and again just to share the load. Moves it on. Soko will get it off, or tries to get it off to Johnson. They're just all over him as he goes to the baseline and gets the two.
Yeah, a rare miscommunication there by the Lions, and Johnson, who's now on 18 personally, gets an easy one. I thought he was going to flush that a little harder.
Flush that. No extra point for the flush. He realizes he's probably going to be playing 30-plus minutes.
It's true.
Scott again going to work in his office down low, gets to a little angle off the glass. Deja vu moment for Joel Scott.
There's not much more you can really do defensively. Maybe stand a little bit more so he doesn't get so deep, but I don't know if you can allow him to play one-on-one the whole game.
Johnson penetrates, doesn't get it on the glass. And they're going to call basket interference. But again, regardless of the basket interference, what a job on the glass.
Dominating. They understand they need to generate second chance opportunities and stop Lions from getting them. And it seems to be a really big key point in what Coach Pat Nostro has prepared them for.
Defending playoff champions, and they're playing like it. Tariq Phillip attacks the seam down the lane for two. Did not need a second invitation.
He recognized he was already open, so caught it on the run. And he just got so many different ways of finishing around the rim. Super crafty.
Riders trying to hold for the last shot of what's been a tremendous first half for them. Johnson moves it on. Doku steps back for the three. Short. And that will do it. And we have reached half-time of the second leg of this semi-final, and coach Rob Paternoster has led the Riders to a 45-39 advantage, and they have been exceptional.
They really have. He's done a great job of in a quick time, turning around kind of the scores, recognizing where they can exploit against the Lions, and they've done it consistently in this first half, really shown some great defensive efforts, and offensively they just look like they've got nothing to lose. They're finding some good stuff. You said dominating the boards. It's whether they can do that for another 20 minutes is the question.
Well, that's always the question that Lions ask you, isn't it? They play for 40 every single night. So let's take a look at the stats, Kyla, and the 2-point percentage is getting better.
It's definitely evened out a lot, and that's where it's now a single point game because the Lions have found ways of being successful inside. Rebounds, we talked about Leicester Riders 21-17. Is it balanced out again 5-5 on offensive rebounds, but it does feel like Leicester are doing the better job or creating more out of what they're getting. And then again, Riders getting 10 free throws, doing a good job of drawing fouls, getting Lions into the bonus, and finding ways to score with 45 points in this first half.
Well, during this second quarter, the Lions came out and really did look like they were making that run, but Gorman Refe in particular made some big shots, and Riders have maintained the lead. Yeah, exactly. It started with Lions defense. Did a good job in that second quarter coming out, pressuring the ball, pressuring the deny especially. I thought that was great, which helped them then get a bit more of a rhythm offensively. But actually, I think the Riders' zone defense is just too much, making it hard for the Lions to score the way they want to. Players are shooting stuff that are lower percentage on what they usually do, whether that's threes or other things, and Riders are cleaning up the board. So they're all together doing a really good job on stopping what the Lions want to do. Okay, so there you have it, 45-39 at the half. We'll take a break now for the halftime contact. We'll see you the other side of that. Can the Riders do the remarkable and get to the O2? Join us for the second half.
Now boarding the train of thought.
Football. There's a lot to consider. Form guides, injuries, tactics. Here's something simple. Early payout from Boyle Sports. Go 2 goals up and you'll walk away a winner. No matter what. When your team goes 2 goals up, you win. On singles, hackers, and bet builders. Back yourself at Boyle Sports, home of the early payout.
I'm happy who I am. I'm happy who the parents I have. And my father especially, he taught us a lot of things, how to be a man and to respect everybody and to respect the game and respect what you do. So, it's something that is important, but at the same time, everybody has a father, everybody has a family, you just try to represent your family the best way possible. And does that, my dad in Lithuania especially has a little extra sauce to it, let's say, or in Europe in general. But yeah, I'm just happy for the father I have. He loved us. He taught us a lot, and he always showed us the way. Everybody thinks like, it's automatic that my dad's going to push us to play basketball or to do basketball. He never did. He never wanted. He's like, you guys do whatever you guys want to. It just happens automatically. You're just around the game the whole time. You're going to practices. And when he was in Portland, then, we moved to Spain and we get put into basketball, but when we were in America, we did everything. We did football, golf, tennis, soccer, or football in that case, did everything. And it just happened to make it to basketball. We were good. We liked it, we understood the game. And that, but like for example, my big brother, he stopped playing at 18, and my dad didn't mind it at all, So yeah, my brother's working in a hotel. He's a hotel manager. My sister's in Japan. My brother's obviously in the NBA, and I'm a coach. So, everybody just went their own path. So my dad wasn't a big, that we had to do basketball. But yeah, in the last 2-3 years playing in Spain, I already started doing the coaching course in Spain to be able to do it. I was always asking a lot of questions to the coaches. I always realized coaches were getting annoyed by me because I'm asking why we do this, why that. Does this make sense? This doesn't make sense. So I was already, my last 3 years, my last year playing, actually, I was coaching one of the youth teams at the club that I was playing just to get some, traction. And then, for the course, you needed to do it. And then at 27, when the offers that I wanted weren't coming, I knew it was going to be eventually going to happen. I thought maybe if you start earlier, I can get higher faster or younger or whatever the case may be. So I'm very happy I took the decision, and here I am. I am a hard worker. I believe in hard work every day, discipline. But I would say that everything happened. I'd probably be surprised that everything happened so quick that I'm a head coach in London, Euro Cup and SLB, at 33. But I'm very thankful again for the opportunity, for everybody that allowed me to do this, to have the coaching staff that I have and the players that I have that are very, very, very easy to coach and very, 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 very good round of people.
It's the first time we've ever had a major final in British basketball here at the AO Arena.
The 2026 Super League Cup Final is underway. Harrison drains the three. Gale to the basket. Out to Hottinger. Three is good for Ronnie Hottinger. Lewis spins to the basket. Great finish off the glass. Ciara finishes under the basket. Gale dancing around the outside, steps back. That will do it. The Sheffield Hatters are your 2026 Cup Final winners. This has all the right ingredients to be a fantastic final.
Speed from Phillip getting to the rim. To the spin move. What a finish from Gabe Osamoy. Steps away, Johnson splashes, another three. Jordan Johnson is on fire here in the final. There's McGusty and he's fouled as well. Jordan Johnson again. What a play from Tariq Phillip. McGusty does go on McGusty from the elbow, and it is London who've made it 2 from 2. They are the Cup champions.
I think as an English player growing up, for me at least, I never really imagined playing in England until maybe, towards the end of my career with opportunities here. But yeah, like you say, when I finished my college career and I kind of got contact from London Lions, it was kind of like an opportunity thing. I can't pass this down, to be able to play Euro Cup level, like you say, play at one of the most decorated clubs. My sister's had experience here playing a couple of years ago, and her experience, and for someone who's English to be able to play in your home country and play the level we're playing at and do that as my job is something that was, too good to not do. For me at least, I think the biggest thing is just being open-minded to everything. I think obviously the transition from being a senior in college, where you're seen as one of the older guys that's more experienced, that you've seen a lot of the college scene, to then going to be in the first year, the rookie again, where you're kind of opened up to a whole new realm of, like you say, Tariq, J3, that played professional basketball for 8, 9, 10 years. So I think just being open-minded, learning from loads of different people, and also just enjoy it as much as you can. I would say the biggest thing is just keep going. It's a long race. I don't think there's any shortcuts or any. I think a lot of the time people are looking for certain tips and tricks to get to where they want to go, and I think a lot of the time, from my experience at least, it's just the person that keeps going. I would say. I think I know a lot of people that maybe I was in a similar situation with them when I was 17, 18, and I kind of just kept going. I'd say there's obviously certain stuff, a lot of hard work, a lot of luck, that's gone into it. But I just think just keep going and make. I know it's kind of a bit cliche, but just that 1% every day, add a little bit that's going to help over 5, 10, 15 years of your career.
Super League basketball is leveling up British hoops. This isn't just a league, it's a movement you can feel and see in the stands. From the first tip to the final buzzer, the story is written. Every drive, every shot, and every moment. Rivalries run deeper, games hit harder. One pass, one dunk, everything can shift. Legacies aren't given here, they're earned. New stories are ready, and new champions are coming. Season 2 is here. Stand tall for British basketball.
Well, welcome back to the Copper Box. Kyla, can Riders do the unthinkable here?
Yeah, they can. They've come out and proven that they can compete with the Lions. They're currently leading, and they've had some stretches in the game where they've looked significantly more comfortable. It's just whether they can get it done in 20 minutes with the Lions coming back out, wanting to make adjustments against their zone, being able to put more pressure on the inside of the paint. They had 16 points in that second quarter, which helped bring them back into the game. It's going to be a tough one, but it's definitely not impossible.
Well, the man who more than anyone else has kept Riders ticking over is this guy. Kenan Johnson, absolutely inside, outside, everywhere. He's done a great job.
He has, and it started with some early rhythm, just some easy looks, and he's really capitalized off the rest, showing he's a 3-level scorer, 20 points in that first half, extremely efficiently as well. Went 8 for 11 from the field, 3 for 5 from the 3. Got himself to the line. He's had 3 steals as well, so impacting the floor on both ends. And he's just done a good job of keeping the season for the Riders alive.
Well, we saw some glimpses in that first half where Lions defense started to come up with being really productive. They've really got to take care of the ball, haven't they, Riders? They cannot give points off of turnovers.
Exactly, yeah, the Lions are proving they can pressure the ball. They're switching and aggressively, so you can't be soft at all coming off of actions or having the ball in your hand. Because as soon as the Lions do that and they're able to turn you over, then they'll exploit you in the open floor. I also think you have to protect that free throw line if you're staying in that zone for the Riders. Every time the Lions go into that sweet spot, whether off the dribble, coming off ball screens or off of a flash from a big, they've been able to get really high percentage looks. On the other end, Riders offensively have to find a way to get north to south, get downhill against the switches without getting forced left to right. Create movement on those switches and then exploit the mismatches that they find.
Well, we're underway. And again, not surprising, Riders will stay with the 2-3 zone. We'll try and slow up and get them out of rhythm. Brown, quick release is short, but they live on the glass. Price keeps it alive. Tariq Phillip with a long time, can't get it to go. Bledson cleans up the mess on the glass, and he'll bring it.
And forcing 2 threes to start the half. And sometimes long shots cause long rebounds, which are hard to go and get.
Neither shot looked really in rhythm. It's just slowing down the tempo. Oh, stripped. 3-on-2 break. They've just got to find the open guy. Phillip drops it to Price down the lane, blows the finger roll when you thought he may have thrown it down.
I think he second-guessed himself. He almost threw it down, and then he went with it more of a finesse finish and just couldn't get it to go. But that's where we're talking about defense into offense with the pressure.
Doku has it, moves it on. Bledson goes inside. Menzies seals. Go up, Aaron Menzies.
Please. This could be your last game. What have you got to lose? The biggest guy on the floor. You're creating advantage, you're drawing fouls. Reward yourself. He works hard. He doesn't realize how much of an offensive threat he can be.
He was so deep on that catch. I mean, obviously passing off, so they're on the end line, but
he's got to learn from the first half. The same thing happened.
Yep. Forman Rafa has it. Moves it on. Bledson. Got to become a scorer in this second half, Bledson's got to be that extra scorer that Riders need. 3 on the clock. Goes up with a tough one, and one.
Hey, these Riders are listening to you today. Nice job of absorbing that bump, finishing on the fade towards the baseline. And that's exactly who you need to start generating offense for your side if you're the Leicester Riders.
Well, it's where are they going to get it? If it's not Bledson or Menzies at the ring, they haven't got a lot of options, so Bledson's got to step up right now. Yeah. And he did. So if you're a Riders fan out there, you want to hope he carries on like this for this second half. 9-point advantage for the Riders. The defending champions trying to get back to the 0-2. Scott. They move it out of the corner and hit the second side here. Brown, it's all still in front of the zone though. Reynolds attacks it, gets in the seam. Tough one on a turnaround. And again, Riders just throw it away though. Price barrels, goes up with a right hand hook, doesn't get it to go. Reynolds on the glass, nice pass. Brown is fouled, and they will still have to just earn it from the free throw line. And they are just not in rhythm offensively at all.
They're not. Again, Riders zone just messing them up. Second guess decisions on the catch. I think Riders having a good job in this second half, defending more above the free throw line, forcing shooters to come from more of the wing angle, and it's really disrupting the Lions. But then you cannot give them second opportunities. Great crash by Trevor Reynolds Jr. On the flip side, Leicester not giving them anything easy, forcing Brown Jr. to get to the line and make his free throws.
But they've got to keep cleaning up the glass, haven't they? Because at some point, the Lions are going to get a run. And you want to make them work for that run, not give them second chance points. Here's Johnson, he'll advance it this time. His turn to take a little bit of the load at the point. Doku moves it on. Forman Rafa needs a pass. Finds one. Johnson will come off the Menzies screen, which is a big screen. Great work by Reynolds to stay and not switch. Doku with the long three is way off. Chance to run the other way. Phillip, 4-on-2 break. Great work on the glass. Scott goes inside, outside, and Phillip goes back to Price. And again, forced to move the ball out and work for it in the half court. Scott for the 2. And when you need 2, Scott is the man.
He is recognized. Menzies closing out, and his first step was just too quick there.
Johnson will take the Menzies screen. And Shawnee Brown is going to be charged with the reach.
Johnson continuing to step up, create stuff with the ball in his hand. That's the 6th foul he's drawn.
So Leicester go with the small ball team, and Coach Sabonis responds by bringing Dean Williams straight into the game, and Price will sit, Reynolds will sit, McGusty checks in. And there's no drop in level coming off that Lions bench. Depth has been just an important part of them being the #1 team in the country this year.
Absolutely, in their last game, 9 of the 10 players who were on the floor and got minutes scored. Just shows that they want to share the ball, and anyone is able to produce.
Johnson moves it on. They skip it. Rafa thinks about the three. Scott does a great job at closing out. He's going to have to put it up, and they run out of time. And that's all about, one, the defense of the team, but Joel Scott on the closeout. It was just a textbook. It was a clinic.
It was. Great timing, chopped his feet, was ready to defend. If you're Boardman Rafa, I think you have to shoot that. Just a couple seconds left in the shot clock. Try and get it up and over Scott, but that's such a tough closeout to be able to read.
Well, Lions turning the screw a little bit defensively at the start of three. Drops it inside, turns it over, though. Bournemouth Rafa comes up with another way of helping his team. Puts it on the floor, going left, steps in, big second step, and it's almost, everyone has a trademark, that is his.
So lovely. Absorbs the bump, and then he has that second step to get balance, and his touch is just amazing.
Scott fills the double team, kicks it. They line it up for Tariq Phillip. Scott's on the glass. Scott's on the glass again, goes up, doesn't get it to drop, and finally, Nduka comes down with a defensive rebound.
The amount of bodies you're seeing in that paint as soon as Lions find themselves in there. Riders just collapsing.
Rafa will take the ball screen. No, they turn it down in the lane. Second step again off the glass for two. Way to create the angle.
Yeah, and with a big Joel Scott coming across to try and get that rejection, he just changes the rhythm of his steps slightly to just mess with the defense.
Augusti stops, feet on the three-point line. Williams all over the offensive glass, but as a team, Riders come down with it. Leicester brings it. And there's a foul mid-court.
And the third quarter in a row where you're looking at Lions on 3-4 fouls compared to the one of Riders.
It's something that Lions do. They will commit the foul in transition, and that was one of those examples. So they are going to, and if the officials call it, and what they're almost gambling on is that there's too much of an advantage and the referees don't call it. But if they're going to call it, they're going to get into foul trouble very quickly, which is what they've done in every one of these quarters. Bledson will inbound the basketball. Aaron Rye checks in. Had a huge impact when he checked in the first half. Johnson will come off the stagger. Paul Marafe has it. Plays with the ball screen, moves it on, gets it back. Little hesitation, goes out Williams, gets a little bit of separation, takes the tough one, and that is Lions defense exemplified. Well, Aaron Rye, why wouldn't it be Aaron Rye who picks it up off the backboard?
And if you're the Lions, you're like, thank goodness we cleaned that up. But if you're the Riders, you're frustrated to not come up with that off of the glass.
And so often it's Aaron Rye is the man that cleans up that stuff.
The right place at the right time.
To mishandled, surely he traveled. Johnson down the lane, kicks it. Bledson maybe got to back himself and shoot the ball. Williams in transition is fouled. They want the unsportsmanlike foul. In fact, the officials haven't talked about it, but the trial official has called that unsportsmanlike.
Yeah, it'll be interesting what this conversation looks like.
I'm not convinced that they are going to stay with the unsportsmanlike. Here's Williams. Johnson coming from the side. Not really an attempt to play the ball. Therefore, should be, quite rightly called, an unsportsmanlike foul. Big possession here. Williams makes the two, and they get the ball back. Down to a 5-point game if he makes both.
Again, another group on the floor for the Lions that just suit switching and have strong bodies that can keep Boardman Rafa in front of them. And has a good job, again, defensive pressure, creating something on the other end.
Well, we talked about Bledson having to be a scorer. There was too much traffic for the penetration. Catch and shoot, back yourself.
Exactly, with the rotations, Lions peeling out a lot when they get beat. You don't have time to think, and they're coming from low to close out high. So you going straight back into them isn't going to create enough.
Well, 6-point game, 52-46. 4:30 to go in the third, and the Riders, as McGusty puts up the three, doesn't get it to drop. Doku's got to go after it a bit harder, but he comes down with it. Johnson in transition, moves it on. Joyner thinking about his options. Lions defense beginning to become a huge factor. Ndoko tries to go to work, goes to the right hand, off the glass of two. Super little finish.
That was lovely.
Good Joel Scott-like.
Yeah, high off the glass there. Able to use his pivot, his shoulders to kind of shifty. Nice.
McGusty attacks that foul line. A little floater for two is good. So good at playing in that space between the three-point line and the keyway. Joyner comes off the ball screen, steps out and steps back. Marafa attacks, spins, goes with the right hand, manufactures a finish. That is just hours and hours of finding ways to finish off the glass.
He said to his teammate, Nduko, if you can do it, I can do it too, and very similar high finishes there.
Scott feels the double team, slices through it, drops the pass to Rye, who stays with it, can't complete. Joyner chases it down, he has it. Tariq Phillip picks him up.
9 times out of 10, that's an Aaron Rye 2 points. The first or the second one.
Exactly. Marafa looks inside, no option. Challenges the defense, steps back, steps through. Beautiful.
He's smiling on his run back. He's talking out there. Why not? That's a lovely job. If I'm going to put this team on my back and create. And he's been shooting those mid-range all game. Got Reynolds Jr. to bite, and that long step through, McGusty to bite, and that long little step through, craftiness allows him to finish on that one.
He's loving the moment, right?
He is. Absolute competitor.
Well, he got to 6 and we thought, oh, but they're back out to 10 on the back of some tough finishes around the ring. They've not settled for the jump shot. They've attacked this defense.
And I like that. Even Boardman Rafa has been struggling a little bit more from further out today. So he's willing himself inside the paint. They found a way with 26 points in the paint now. 30. That's 26 for the London Lions. 30 points in the paint, and a lot of those does come from Boardman Rafa. We see there Johnson, 20 points, has not scored so far in this half, but he's been super efficient today. And on the other side, I like to go Scott, Aaron Rye, Cam McGusty leading the scoring for London Lions.
Wow. They're getting into the realms now of a single-digit two-leg margin. And there's the guy that's been instrumental. He's now getting a lot of help from Bourman Rafe, and he's beginning to get some help from the rest of the roster. So those third and fourth scorers are going to be the crucial numbers, where it's Menzies when he comes back from inside. Bledson, is he the guy that's going to have to step it up? And they've got to find that third and fourth scorers to get over the line here. But at the moment, they only trail 9 on the tie.
Yep, on the aggregate. I think that's a huge point of getting your other players touches, and they've done that so far. You've seen some highlight plays from the third, fourth scorers, and it means by the fourth quarter they're in a rhythm. So hopefully Leicester are able to share it and find the best looks.
Well, the 2-3 zone is being milked for the whole game, it looks like, by Leicester. Here's McGusty outside, takes the ball screen. Aaron Rye gets it back to him. They go ball screen to the middle now, hard show, and they're really doing a great job. McGusty with nowhere to go is going to have to put up a prayer, and they get a 24-second violation out of the timeout. That is a phenomenal job by the Leicester Riders.
Absolutely huge. You have to celebrate a 24-second at this level. Great job, and they're just defending the ball screen so well.
Here's Johnson. Big, every possession is big, but getting a score, and they're going to call that a travel. That's a bailout option, I would suggest.
It's an option for sure.
It looks like an offensive foul to me, but Dean Williams again, though, how many times this season, at the defensive end in particular, he has come up with a play.
He's done a great job. He's been everywhere for the Lions. What a great British pickup to be on this roster.
Still in, showing the 2-3 zone shape. They go lob to Williams! Ooh. And he misses the alley-oop, puts it on the floor, tries to create, second move, draws contact, and will have to earn it from the free throw line. And I was counting those.
Ooh, that one would have been added to the highlight reel he already has on the season, but I don't think Akasiku will fall asleep on that backside again after that almost jam on top of his head.
Just turned his shoulders, didn't he? He had no way of seeing behind him at all. Dean Williams on the free throw line. Strokes the first. 2 for 2 from the line.
Dino gets it to go. Let's see you on defense.
Joyner has it. He will advance it. They just about get it over the timeline. Lions trying to pick this up defensively. Offensively, they're struggling, so they're having to go to their defense. Joyner shows a little handle, steps back way short. Ryan attacks it. Wide open, Joel Scott for 3.
Aaron Wright, you've seen him score, and now you see him facilitate. And Joel Scott's trying to get the energy from the crowd, feeling good after that made 3.
Johnson moves it on. Orman Rafe. Johnson, 7 on the possession. Steps back for 2, it's off. It's Lions' turn for their defense to be a factor. Aaron Wright is fouled on the floor, and it will be a sideline possession for the Lions. Well, Aaron Wright is off the bench again, having an impact. Great penetration, great recognition, open man, knocks down the 3.
Such simple basketball, but so effective. When you have an Aaron Wright who's like a Swiss Army knife, it just helps everything, really.
Absolutely right. It's a great way of describing Aaron Wright. Joel Scott sits down to a huge reception for the fans behind the Lions bench. That's the outside, attacks that foul line, stops and pops, he's short. And not even Aaron Wright can get the rebound. Here's Johnson, kicks it. Orman Rafe in the corner for 3, overcooks one. The Lions, as a team, come down for Aaron Wright going the other way. Attacks it and kicks. They hit the second side, and Jimmy Brown thinks about the penetration, gets Rye in the block. Rye fills the double team, inside out. Extra pass, great ball movement. Salade for 3. Everybody in a white uniform touches the ball.
Beautiful ball movement there. And it starts with having to have the double come at Aaron Rye in the post. And they find the ball movement from there.
Coach Paternoster might take the time here. Everyone's gone a bit cold, but it's coming up to the end of the quarter.
2 shots to go for your Lions, 15 foul.
I think that's the other question. Can the Leicester Riders fight through fatigue? You've got players already in the high 20s of minutes who you need to contribute at this time in the game. As you see here, Aaron Wright is such a threat in the post. They bring a double, and then the scramble and rotations happen. Lions just moved the ball way too nicely there for Mo Salawade, who could knock that one down.
Well, Salawade a chance to tie the score for the first time in a very, very long time.
Yeah, the crowd at the Copper Box feels like for the first time really getting behind the Lions.
And that's a 10-0 run to close out the quarter. They were only up 9, they're back out to the 19 margin. Joyner from deep is no good. And the Lions defense has finally become a factor. After 3 quarters here at the Copper Box, Coach Paternoster has got a hell of a job to do in this quarter break. Tied at 58, his team were only 9 down on the tie. Lions re-established a 19-point lead. He's got to do it all again.
Frustrating if this was a regular season game and your coach Well, Paternoster going into the fourth, tied with the Lions, you're like, all right, let's go. This is a great job. But knowing the aggregate score, down 19, it just makes it even harder. They had a 14-point winning quarter in the first leg, so if they can produce something like that, they have a chance. Percentages we talked about balanced out a little bit. Twos, though, under 40% for the London Lions, which we haven't seen barely ever this season. Just a lot of buddies being missed so far, whereas Leicester really capitalising off of it. But look at the amount of opportunities they're generating. 56 field goal attempts compared to 45, so that's 9 less opportunities for the Riders to score, which makes it hard to keep that lead going.
Well, that's the biggest factor. They really have built that. And they've gone very cold from the three-point line, under 30. And we said they had to have a pretty much perfect game. And they've probably had 2 quarters and a bit of perfection.
Yeah, we talk about also controlling the game, and you can do that through rebounding. Leicester gave up 8 offensive rebounds in that quarter, and it felt like the Lions had the ball in their hands more and were able to control the tempo of the game, and that's what that 10-0 run does.
Well, Aaron Menzies will come back into the game for the Riders at the start of the fourth quarter. But this is the play for me for the whole quarter. Every single Lion touches the basketball. Yeah. Everybody gets a touch. Mo Solari gets the 3 from the corner.
Absolutely beautiful, and I think that's a big difference. Lions bench, 26 points coming off the bench. Everyone that has played today has contributed and scored, whereas the Riders, some of the subs, their plus minuses are in the negatives and haven't been able to contribute as much in their rotation.
Well, here we are, tied up on the day. Back to that 19-point margin. They've got to win the next 5 minutes. Letson has got to back himself a little bit. Goes with that fadeaway. Can't get it to go this time. Williams with a defensive rebound, and Rye will advance the basketball.
Still think I got to find Menzies. He's sealing and working really hard down there. Have to find a way to give him the ball.
Solari. Rye spins, wheels, deals for 2.
So I think he just gets a rhythm throughout a game, and he gets really comfortable.
Oh, they get the jump ball, and it's a Lions possession.
Feels like everyone's woken up now. You talked about it. Are they going to come out complacent, knowing the margin, knowing that they're that close to making the 4th final of the year, and now everyone's starting to step up and show their identity as a team?
Well, it's one of the best defensive lineups that Coach Sabonis can put on the floor here. McGusty tries to turn the corner. Solari gets it to Brown. Settles for the step-back 3, is no good. Menzies gets the defensive rebound. Riders have just got to tick this scoreboard over. Mid-court foul, and Wright takes one for the team.
Yeah, delayed whistle there, but even Aaron Wright is putting his hand up, knowing he wanted to slow that one down. But Brown Jr., sure, I don't know if they needed that. They started to find good ball movement, open looks, and that one he just takes off the dribble after not really creating much of an advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. Here is Johnson. Johnson needs to get that rhythm back, needs to become that great scorer he was. Menzies deep is fouled by Rye on the floor.
And feed the big guy. That's a good job. Don't even know if he needed that dribble so early on the catch against a Rye. But he drew the foul, he did his job. And now can he create another steal inside where he has significant size over everyone else on the floor right now.
They go long, Letson will chase it. Nice pass. Inside, outside, Johnson feet set, can't get it to go. And what was the big factor for the Riders is dried up in this second half. McGusty from the 3-point line. Poses it at the 3-point line. Puts that exclamation mark under the 5-point lead.
You know there's a picture captured of that follow through right there.
Well, Rafa tries to answer and does.
Silence the crowd a little bit.
This guy doesn't know when he's beat. Tremendous to see him flourish at this level. McGusty gets to the foul line, looks for a little contact, second move and penetrate. Aaron Rye from the corner is good.
What can't this man do? What a job by Aaron Rye. Point forward in this second half, creating everything for the Lions, and he's pulled his shirt asking for a quick sub of the hard work he's done in this quarter.
Johnson attacks the closeout.
Smart play, Dean Williams.
Didn't quite see it, I think is how I word it. And I mean literally I didn't see it. But Dean Williams at the defensive end. Aaron Rye making things happen defensively. It's that extra size back quickness just makes this Lions team so formidable defensively. Salade gets the handoff. McGusty comes high. Again, looking to challenge the defense. Williams has it. Got to put it up, 2 on the clock. Leans back for the long 2, is no good. Local comes down with the defensive rebound. Riders just have to start ticking this scoreboard over. Foreman Rafe looks inside, goes inside now. Insu goes to work in the block. Is fouled and thrown to the floor by Tariq Phillip. Will go to the free throw line. And they do look up, they look a little better with this smaller lineup. It's just they miss that presence of Menzies on the inside, but if he's not going to shoot it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Menzies definitely brings him a different style of play. And their advantage is offensively with him on the floor against a Lions team where their 5s are really mobile. The matchup becomes really hard on the other end. But with this smaller 5, they can really just kind of play positionless. Defensively can switch a lot more. But you're right, his presence is definitely still missed.
Insu misses the first from the free throw line. Comes up empty. Tariq Phillip will advance the ball. Riders just desperately need some positive on the floor now. They're just, well, dead on their feet is an understatement. Brown, feet set from the corner, is off. Great work on the defensive board.
Absolutely fighting for everything.
Johnson for 2. Well, you've got to find your points however you can. That's his first points in such a long time. It
is, and of course it's Boardman Raffet. If anyone's been finding Johnson, it's definitely been him today. Great connection those two have formed. But the problem is Johnson's gotten quiet, but no one else on the scorer number 3, 4, 5 has stepped up to fill kind of that scoring role for him.
Because obviously Lions have keyed on him in the second half, and that's when someone else has to put their hand up. Here's Tariq Phillip, draws the contact.
It's an interesting group having Mo Salawade as the point guard, having Tariq Phillip and Cam McGusky off the ball. Makes it really hard to defend, knowing you've got them in the different movement patterns, and they're the ones creating rather than having to start the offense.
Well, Mo Salawade sits down. He, like Aaron Rye, has really turned this around. The end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth. Reynolds gets to the foul line, hands it off. Scott will find Tariq Phillip, who settles for the 3, is short. Look who misses the pass on the break, brings it himself. Su goes to work, gets to the far side of the ring, wraps the pass when he would have been easier to shoot the basketball. Tariq Phillip going the other way. Gusty, nice pass. Scott deep, works an angle, tries to power through the contact, but he'll have to earn them from the free throw line.
There's not much more you can do there if you're defense, but that's just the difference you've seen on both ends. Joel Scott is going to go up regardless. He's going to figure it out and create something. On the other end there, just being too nice with trying to hit that little dump-off pass when you've created. That was a great hesitation, got to his right hand, and just needs to go up on that one.
Well, the pass was harder than the shot. It was.
It was.
It's such a reassuring presence for the Lions when Scott's on the floor. Always gives them that inside option, can step out, as you quite rightly said, absolute matchup nightmare for any opponent.
18 points personal for him. Third player on this Lions team in double digits.
And Lions extend the defense, trying to turn that screw, trying to make sure that there's no debate about them going to the O2 next Sunday. If you haven't got your ticket, please get a ticket. This is going to be a special final. Letson moves it on. Orman Rafe backs it out. Got to put it up. Stops, pops the three, way short. And that'll be a 24 violation. And that looks every inch a tired shot.
It does. I mean, he's been doing everything for the Riders today on both ends. So your fatigue comes out from those kind of looks. Gets himself in the right position, but then the legs just give out from the perimeter.
It's going to be very, very hard for the Riders to pull this out, but they'll take the win here. That'll be a huge performance if they can even get the win. Nice pass. Reynolds with the two. Augusti with the assist. Lions playing Lions basketball.
Yeah, and the Lions have capitalized off a lot of baseline cuts throughout the year. They like that little sneak attack, that last-minute dump off, and it can be a guard or it can be a big, and that time it was Shavar Reynolds Jr.
Well, while we got the timeout with the 6-point margin, this is what they've missed. We talked about the need for a third scorer, and Travis Eby with his 20 points, or 23 points on leg one.
And being a lefty just changes the balance of how you defend. I know personally you get 4 points a game, really, because a defender forgets to send you the other way. And for him, he's just so crafty. Not only can he score, he had 23 in this game, but he creates for everyone else. He draws defense because they know that he's such a big threat, which opens up his teammates. And without him, it's really hard to create the same amount of production on the offensive end.
Well, there is Travis Eby in the timeout. You know he's going to be absolutely desperately disappointed not to be here, not to finish the season how he likes to finish the season playing. But we've been going on consistently in this second half. They needed that third scorer, big scorer.
They have. And they just haven't been able to find that consistently. We've seen Bledson in spurts, we've seen Nduku in parts of the game, but it's just not for long enough periods of time where defense have to really adjust to them becoming a scoring threat.
And Lions would have struggled against a three-guard set. Suit going up, second move off the glass, can't finish. Stays with the play, the ball will be with the Riders. Great second effort.
And look, if Riders can come out of this with a win, it's huge. Usually, only one team in the league finish their season off with a win. This being a two-legged competition gives them an opportunity to still finish on a high with the amount of changes and challenges they've had this season.
Well, it will be a great scenario for the Riders, with the number of British players that they could retain if they wanted to, and then add some quality. So Coach Palanos is going to find out a lot, and has found out a lot about these British guys at the end of the season. There's a 24 violation.
Just not aware of the clock. I don't think anyone realized that it was ticking down. Just took too long to try and create a one-on-one opportunity.
But again, the fatigue is going to be a factor. Here's Reynolds Jr. gets it into the half court, will handle them.
Especially against a Lions team that's super fresh and rotate a high amount of their bench.
16 turnovers now for the Riders. Augusti just hangs, leans, roars the contact, will peel himself off the floor and go to the free throw line. That's those extra shots that you highlighted on the stat sheet. Turnovers, second chances against a team that will always generate points from their defense. It's tough for Riders, and their short roster is really now, this is what people will understand about why that short roster is a factor.
It is, and you might not feel it in the first 10 or even the first half, but within a 40-minute game, you're going to start to feel the difference of a super deep roster and bench compared to a limited one, especially when your best scorer is sitting there and can't get subbed in. So yeah, after 40 minutes, you really start to feel the differences of that.
So he can't make the second. Every time Joel Scott steps onto inside the lines for the Lions, something positive happens.
It really does. He's found a nice role on this team. And as soon as he came back, he didn't really miss a step in terms of making good reads. It takes a little bit of time to get your touch back, but he came back onto that team and he made an immediate impact. We've talked about how with the versatility of his skill set and his body, but it's proven being on the Super League Basketball Team of the Year.
Yeah. There's very few players on this Lions roster that they can't rotate around if they're not there. But Scott, for me, is one of the guys that him and Aaron Ryan, they can't duplicate what they do.
No, you can't replace that.
Orman Rafe has it. Scott switches. Bledson, got to be aggressor, takes the three, he's way short. Almost just settled for the three, Bledson. Here's Tariq Phillip.
Let's go Lions.
Lions with almost at least 1 foot walking out at the O2 right now. So, nice find. A lot of traffic for Aaron Wright. Great work on the glass. Joyner has it, still fighting for it, but Joel Scott comes down with it. Reynolds gets it back to Scott. Reynolds attacks it. Right hand for two is good.
And of course, Aaron Wright is all up in that. Nice job by Reynolds Jr. Created another opportunity. Brown Jr. though struggled a little bit from three today.
And the Lions, just the energy, the depth, the relentlessness, which is what we've talked about all year for the Lions. The fourth quarter is their quarter.
Fresh legs, rotations, you got deeper bench. They've also played a high rate of games, so their conditioning is going to be at a peak right now. And it's showing, it showed in this fourth quarter against a depleted Riders side.
Reynolds will go baseline, gets all the way to the glass, throws the layup. Olisoko, who's just come back into the game. And sometimes people don't really understand or realize Olisoko may be towards the end of his career, but what a career he's had. Playing in the ACB in Spain, being a Basketball Champions League All-Star. He's just a phenomenal basketball player.
No, sorry.
And he comes off the bench really late.
Yeah, and not only a phenomenal basketball player, but a great teammate.
Oh, yeah.
He's a great, he wants the best for the team, and he'll fit into whatever role he thinks his coach needs him to. He's a veteran voice out there. He makes really great reads when the ball in his hands in the high post area. Great screener, and his spacing and timing of the role, but a career that you can't undervalue. What he's done for British basketball has been huge, and I'm sure he'll still be involved in some way or another, whether that's on the floor or not.
Well, Aaron Wright's been called for the offensive foul. And it's been a great job by the Riders, and without sounding a little corny about it, you don't want to see them lose heavily because they don't deserve a heavy loss here. They've been exceptional in this game with all the problems, and then the Travis Evie injury. For 3 quarters they were right in this.
Exactly.
But that's the Riders organization, used to winning, used to being competitive. They were always going to come here and put on they were going to try and make a game and look to win this game.
You're always going to have a chance when you've got a tactician on the sideline that knows strategies, looks at the other team and finds ways that you can still be competitive. And they're fighters. You can always have a chance if you're going to fight. You own the loose 50-50 balls, and you just make it difficult for every possession.
Scott needs a pass, throws it inside, can't find Olisoko. And that is a violation.
Okay, we've seen a lot of late shot clock or shot clock violations today, which just shows the intensity of defense from both teams.
Well, in Riders' case, sometimes that zone has slowed them up. But Lions defense is just relentless. You know, the other question I have for you, that surely this type of game, being pressured close, is going to be a much better form of prep for the Lions going into a final than a win this by 20 and comfortable.
Yeah, but they would have definitely still wanted to win. I think that's a psychological thing of going into the finals on a winning streak. But you're right. You want them to be prepared for a tight situations, having to make certain shots to be able to either get back in a game or push the lead. So it's great preparation for them for the O2 if they finish this out.
I mean, Adamu in the game didn't play at all in the first leg. He's had a great season.
He really has, especially from the three-point line. He's so athletic, does a lot on both ends, but he's really shown his range.
Reynolds, step back, tough three is good.
And then that's what happens. Confidence grows, rhythm gets going. Once the Lions start to build a lead, and by the fourth, everyone's feeling good.
Well, just 108. As the referees see a problem with the timing device. Rob Paternoster takes out Flem Bomber Rafe. Gets a great reception. Look at the way he gets greeted by Coach Paternoster. He knows the effort that Flem Bomber Rafe has put in.
Really just the start of his professional career, which is the most exciting part.
Tough one is blocked. Dean Williams is still playing hard. Adamu, feet set, lines up the three, is no good. Defensive rebound pulled in. Johnson.
It just feels like Leicester's been on 63 points for a while now.
Whistle on the play. (18-5) in the fourth quarter. And they closed it to 9, and they've only scored 5 points since then. And that's what Lions defense will do to any team.
It's suffocating. And that's on fresh legs. It is hard to score against the Lions team that give up the lowest points per game in the league. But especially when these players have played high minutes for a long part of the season, when obviously they had some players after having to leave and some change up. And it gets to your body eventually, and we've seen that in this fall.
Johnson makes the first. What a first half this guy had. Inside, outside, everywhere. Really did set up Riders beginning to believe they had a chance.
Substitution checking in for Leicester.
And Leicester make more changes in the last minute. Johnson's going to sit. Gets a little recognition from Coach Paternoster.
Oh, we've got some technical fouls, I think.
2 technical fouls in the court. One against Dean Williams and one against Xavier Gledson.
I think as Johnson's walking out, he's having a good conversation with Dean Williams, and something, well, what they both said led to double tech, but just means that the Lions still get the ball from the baseline.
Reynolds drops it inside. Obisoko tries to create an angle, does.
Yeah, vet move there, takes his time to find which way he wants to go and just splits the defenders.
And there's precious little difference, less than a second difference. I think Riders are just gonna let this go. And while they'll be massively disappointed at the end of this season, the season that saw them go on a late run to finish 5th, that was a hell of a performance by the Leicester Riders. Absolutely first-class job by Coach Paternoster and his staff. The referee's had to call the 24-second violation.
Yeah, got to finish the game out, 0.3 left.
I thought that the Riders actually gave the ball to the Lions, so therefore it should have been a turnover. And I think the referees have seen sense.
Yeah.
So that's a hell of a job by the Riders, but in the end, overpowered, outmanned, outgunned by the best team in the SLB this season. And the London Lions advance to the O2 and a chance for a quadruple.
Yeah, just to know who they're going to advance to now. Cheshire currently up, obviously a huge aggregate anyway, but still up in that game against Manchester early on. But getting back to this, and the Lions get it done, and not their most efficient rate either. Able to really dominate the boards in the second half. 8 offensive rebounds in that third quarter. Just gave them the control back in the game. Able to balance back out their 2s, 3s, better than Leicester, which helped, and they hit some crucial ones against the zone. And then 21 to 12 assists, sharing the ball, everyone scoring, kind of doing it the London Lions way.
And that Lions defense generates 17 more shot attempts. It's impossible for Riders to win against those numbers. All the highlights in the fourth quarter, Kyler. So many highlights for the team in white. Really shared the ball. And that man there, Aaron Ryan, just did a great job.
He's the one to watch, and he was it for a reason. When they went on that big run, it seemed like he made everything happen. When he was coming down transition and finding shooters, creating stuff down low of being in the post and posting up off the dribble, and then just cleaning up and doing the dirty work. He's just Mr. Reliable, we can't say it enough. So versatile, but then you add the likes of Shavar Reynolds Jr. and the other players the Lions have on that roster. It's just a hard group to beat over 40 minutes.
Well, the Lions are going to celebrate. They're going to celebrate the end of the season with the fans. They're going to bring the lights down and do some awards. And they have one more game. One more game at the O2. And this is where it's all going to be next week. The O2, the premier location in the UK, hosts the O2 next week. Those are the SLB finals. It's whoever makes that final is going to be a great one.
Oh, it's going to be really exciting. Both Cheshire and Manchester have had success against the Lions this year, beating them throughout the season. So it's anyone's game, regardless of who the opponent is. And just being a competitor and being a professional basketball player, they are ready to step up in this moment and make it an entertaining final to finish out the 26th season.
So the London Lions celebrate their last home game. Obi Soko in shot there is retiring this season. This will be his last game at home, rightfully getting a great reception from the crowd. But here is the latest score of the game between Cheshire and Manchester. Cheshire already up from the first leg, lead by 5, and they look as they have got the 1 foot in the O2 to face the London Lions next week. Manchester have a hell of a mountain to climb, but the Cheshire Phoenix, who are possibly the form team in the SLB at the moment, will have the chance to stop London Lions doing the 4-peat. But the London Lions and their captain, Obi Soko, celebrating the end of the season. Great recognition for Obi Soko. But from me, Mark Clark and Kyler Nelson, it's been a great performance by Leicester, a tremendous game. But we'll say goodbye to you now from the O2. Hope to see you next week in the O2 Arena as the London Lions go for a 4-peat. Goodbye for now.
Super League basketball is leveling up British youths. This isn't just a league, it's a movement you can feel and see in the stands. From the first tip to the final buzzer, the story is written. Every drive, every shot, and every moment. Rivalries run deeper, games hit harder. One pass, one dunk, everything can shift. Legacies aren't given here, they're earned. New stories are ready, and new champions are coming. Season 2 is here. Stand tall for British basketball.